Hello and welcome to A Journey to Awareness. Are you ready to take a voyage to the uncharted places within you, where you will be guided to ways to heal your wounds, look at your life choices, release your fears, and take control of your future? Stick with me through these podcasts and you will take the most exciting adventure of your life, the journey to you. Let's go. Hello and welcome. I'm Shauna Hoffman. Today, we're back on the idea that when we are willing, we can change up the rhythm of our lives. We've talked about looking at yourself and deciding something has to change. Well, for the next few podcasts, we're going to talk about the pieces of our psyche, our thinking, and our habits that stop us from doing that. Today's a big one. It's what I talk about in my book as the rebellious free child. When that side of us is healthy, it's incredibly creative. It's the side of our personality that thinks outside the box, rocks the boat for change. It's the artist, it's the creator, it's the side of us that loves to play and have fun. We so need this side of us. It's also called the creative child. But there's a challenge when it goes overboard. It's the side of us that can totally screw up our lives. I mean, really, it's the side of us that goes overboard. Rebellious spirits live a life of action with no fear of consequences. As you can imagine, as an artist or anyone who's trying to create something, you have to think outside the box. You can't put boundaries on your thinking, on your creations or your dreams. A matter of fact, for those of us who don't live in the state, the word can't or the fear of what others think is what stops us from being creative. Creativity is thinking outside of the known to create the unknown. It's an exciting, exhilarating, and adventurous endeavor. It's taking actions with no fear of consequences. It's also the side of us that makes us fun-loving, carefree. Think of some of the creative people you know and reflect on how much fun they are to be around. The rebellious free child taps into a side of the human spirit that almost screams exciting energy. And they don't care about what other people think. Rebellious child, creative child, free child. Another wonderful side of this creative spirits is the ability to be spontaneous and not stick to expected behaviors, routines, or ideas of others. It's truly living expect the unexpected, which was my last podcast episode. If it's raining outside, they come up with something else to do, and they see unplanned opportunities as a way to go beyond obstacles. They throw out all the rules and create new experiences. And there again is the word create. Here is how rebellious free child spirits screw up their lives. It's when the wild side of them goes overboard. I always say this is very much the teenager times in our lives. That's why we call teenagers rebellious, because they're trying to break out of the norm and figure out who they are and create their own rules for life. This state is what we also call the me state. What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? When the rebellious child state goes overboard, it's all about what I want for myself with little or no thought about the other person. So how does it screw up your life? When you live your life with very few boundaries and in the me state, it becomes way too easy to overindulge in just about anything. You drink too much, hang out with your fun friends, do drugs. It's the state where people have affairs. Because again, it's action with no fear of consequences. They're not looking at the consequences of drinking too much on their health, on their life, on their marriage, on their parenting, on how it's affecting their job. If they're having affairs, it's because they're looking for that fun, that high, that they think they're not getting in their marriage. And they're not looking at the consequences of how it's going to hurt someone else or destroy their relationship. They slip into the me state and escape. We see this with so many of the most brilliant artists, musicians, actors, writers, producers, directors. They're extremely creative, and this side of them has helped get them to where they are in life. But it's the negative side of the rebellious child that takes so many of them down. There is a huge danger in your life if you are nurturing an unhealthy, rebellious child spirit. Combine this with another side of this state, the wild, spontaneous side, and chances are they jump into what we call total denial. They have to deny the possibility that there is a negative outcome to what they're doing. They deny that it's harmful or hurtful, and they let go of all of their boundaries. And believe me, boundaries are what keeps us safe. Here's another dangerous side of when the rebellious child goes overboard. There's very little guilt involved. You see, the rebellious child spirit can create a scenario that makes it okay for what they're doing and have no guilt of how it's affecting anyone else. Guilt would mean they would have to change something. And when a rebellious child spirit goes overboard, that's the last thing they want to do, change. Now let's talk about the free-spirited side of rebellious, free child. It's when the free-spirited person becomes too free-spirited. It sounds harmless, right? We love free-spirited people. I love to see someone who dresses just the way they want to dress without caring what others think. It's okay to be different. All of that is the healthy side of a free-spirited, rebellious child spirit. But when the free spirit goes overboard, they lose perspective on what is safe for them and around them. Like a woman who skips the beach alone, not even noticing that a man is following her, or someone who puts their child in danger because they want to break all the rules. This is when free-spirited becomes reckless and logic goes out the window in favor of the adventure or rule-breaking thinking of the rebellious free child state. There is a beautiful side of this kind of spirit, and that's that they speak up for themselves. That's what we practice as teenagers that gets us into trouble. But when it becomes overboard, then there's a chance that they become over-emotional. That free-spirited person who is so overboard that they want everyone to hear their voice. You've been around those kind of people where drama is the name of their game. Creative people are much more in touch with their emotional side. So when it goes overboard, it's when the emotion gains control of them over the logic of a situation. Their emotion turns from you or us or the situation to me, me, me. So, how do you know if any of this is you? The first question to ask yourself, is there a side of you that goes overboard that is affecting your life? Are you drinking too much? Are you doing too many drugs? Are you blowing off work? Are you having an affair outside of your relationship? Are you doing dangerous things like driving too fast or overeating or eating tons of junk food? Here's a big one. Are you spending money with no fear of the consequences of overspending? Do your emotions get out of control? Take a look at yourself honestly, with no denial, and ask yourself, where is your rebellious free child going overboard? And is it? It may not. But if it is, ask yourself, how is it screwing up your life? I always say that the first way to change is to make the subconscious conscious. Once you do that, you can look at what you need to change in order to change the rhythm of your life. A bigger piece of this is to ask yourself, is there a creative side of you that you're not tapping into? Is there a fun-loving spirit in you that is desperately needing attention? Are you working so hard that you're rebelling in other ways? Are you an artist or a musician or a writer who's let that side of you go in order to live a less creative life? Are you so rigid in so many other things in your life That the only way you can break free is going overboard with something unhealthy? We all desperately need this side of us, but we need it healthy. Without a creative outlet, fun, spontaneity, playfulness, our subconscious is going to find quick and easy ways to experience it. And I can almost guarantee you that one way or another, you will pay for the consequences that you're not looking at. So if you want to stop screwing up your life, you actually have to look at your life. No more denial. No more closing off your adult thinking in order to get away with old childish behaviors. Get in touch with the wonderful and healthy and fun side of creative child. And if you don't have a creative child, find it. It might be something more subtle than you know. It might be creating a beautiful garden. It might be changing all of the colors in your home. It might be writing your memoirs or starting a screenplay or dancing or getting out and doing more fun things with your life. Try something new, going someplace new. If you need to start very small, then do so. And most importantly, if you need to look deeply at behavior that you know is screwing up your life, then put on your he, she, they pants and do so. In order to change the rhythm of our lives, to find happiness and passion, then we have to become self-aware and look at the things that are holding us back. Not with judgment, but with hope. Hope that you love yourself enough to make the changes to start you back on a path to your wonderful life. Here's a perfect quote by Nayyirah Waheed. There is no healthier drug than creativity. Albert Einstein said, creativity is intelligence having fun. This season of the podcast is about changing up the rhythms of our lives, but we have to look at what is stopping the music in our souls. So if you can just take a little time to look deeper within, I believe you will find the answer. Remember, no judgment, just hope. Oh, beautiful listeners, please take care of yourselves this week. Drink lots of water, get lots of rest, and have lots of fun. Surround yourself with loving beings, and most importantly, love yourself. Thank you for letting me into your lives this week, and I look forward to popping back in again next time.
Thank you for joining me today on the Journey to Awareness podcast. My hope is that you leave this podcast inspired, fired up, and ready to take that next step on the magical journey of self-awareness. And then you come back and join us again. Be sure to visit me on my Facebook page, Working on Me, and on my website, workingonme.com, for past episodes and insights into the fabulous journey to you.